Hello everybody. For the people that are watching it for the first time, welcome. For those that have seen it before, they know to get a large coffee or get ready on the fast forward button. So it's been a little while, so I'm now up to 10 months. So end of March was kind of when I had it installed. So we've now got through the shortest day of the year, and especially in the last week or so, I've seen a lot of difference in terms of the amount of solar that we're getting. So it's all good news. You'll see in the background all the stuff scrolling around with my totals and my consumption, and just one thing to bear in mind. So just remember, I use the Octopus Go Faster for 5 hours because I've got the car. I use an iBoost for the hot water, which at the moment I'm just boosting overnight on the cheap rate because there's not enough solar. And generally in the day, you might be getting 2 or 3 kilowatts or something in power, but generally not a lot. And you can see in the background when it comes back to the screens that actually sometimes I'm running out. So it's been a long winter, and as a result, especially, the gas has come on. So just a few things to add, and we'll go through it in a minute. I actually got a bit bored over Christmas, so I decided to put in all my gas values by day, because I can then get a true picture day on day what I'm spending my money on, and you'll see through some of it that actually when the solar drops off, my gas goes up, which is quite obvious really. But it's nice now because I'm getting a true picture of what's going on. So where have I got to? Right, as I say, got carried away. Let me switch over to my version of what I've been doing, and then you can see all of the crazy graphs that I've now built. Okay, so managed to find a little space to put myself because there's a lot going on. So I've still got my other page, but I built this one as well. So let me guide you through some of the numbers, see if makes a bit of sense. Top left, now what I've got is a year-on-year picture. So from my perspective, I can now see what my electric is, which are the blue, the orange, which is my gas, and then the purple colour is my solar, what I call my solar saving. So this is what I would have spent had I not had the solar. And as you can see, the government quotes or whoever's quoting all the numbers about £2,500. Actually, mine was quite close to, or would have been £2,500 had I not had the solar. But clearly, I've made a saving of, just over £1,000. With this model, what I've now done is built some additional selections in. So what I can actually do is turn that off, and then I can get the numbers just directly. So this is actually what I've spent on my electric and gas for the total of 2021 and 22, and you can see it building up here for 23. So it's quite a nice feature that I've put on there. Let me just turn that back on for a minute. On the right hand side here, now what the other function I built was to try and, as I split it up, and so for the guys that have watched it before, you will see that I've had it in installation. So first of all it was the solar, then it was the iBoost, then the battery. What I've done is I've tried to split it up, so actually I can actually see this at any point and work out what the numbers would look like with just that. But it's nice to see, I can see as I've added the different components in, what's actually happened. And as you can see down to here, it's sort of up to the battery. So this is where my battery costs. So I was using no gas and a load of battery. And then I got the car in August, and then I got my Zappi, and then it all went back the other way in terms of amount of usage. Obviously the thing is that I'm using it on the overnight rate, so it doesn't count quite so much. Again, different pictures, so gas and electric, this is just specifically so I can see month on month, and you can see through the summer I'm not using any gas, but then I've started to use it a lot more here, and obviously the car not so efficient when in the cold weather, so you end up charging it a bit more. Tariffs, I did it a different way here, so I could see by economy 7 and standard, so you can see that literally there is a bit of time in December where I'm using a lot more because I'm running out of battery. It's hopefully going back down now as the solar gets better. And source is grid and solar, so you can see that it's obviously the solar's gone down and back up. So again, Zappi, I managed to pull in all the data. I found the Zappi data, so I'm sure you all know it was already there, but I downloaded the true Zappi data, and quite recently they seem to have made a fix to it, actually you can now determine what is solar and what's green and what isn't. So what am I taking up from my solar? So hopefully this is starting to work now. So I've just done it, this will be for the last 30 days. This is a few days into February, and we had a great day today. I think I put 7 kilowatts from the solar, so hopefully in February I can see this a lot better in terms of how I'm putting it into the car. And my wife's just started a new job as well, so she's going to be taking my Smart, so actually I'm going to have the electric car sat on the drive a lot more, so I can hopefully make use of it, rather than giving it back to the grid and not getting any money. Solar generation, a lot of people put this on. Obviously this is directly from my solar stuff, so we can see here that the worst month was December, which is what we'd expect, but even January is better than November, so just some extra monitoring things. But obviously I can turn things on and off, and the other thing I can do is I can remove all the Zappi data from here, so what I've used from the car specifically, rather than guessing it, which is what I was trying to do before. So I can actually turn off all the data, and now you can see how much usage I'm using without the car, and a lot of that primarily is tumble dryer. So we've set the timer on the tumble dryer to run overnight, and dishwasher, and some electric heaters and some bits and pieces that come on early in the morning. But yeah, so that's been quite handy. Another feature that I've put in, which is quite good. Obviously, if I switch to my my other view, which some of you will remember from before, this is now where I'm getting into when I was analysing it with all the numbers. So here we can see the amount of data, and again I can turn these on and off, so I can then see for the last few days what would I've used without the car and with some of my solar savings. So again, month on month I can see it, and this was the original view, so every month I can see what I'm doing there, and hopefully my gas will now start dropping, because that's obviously quite a large component of it. Solar here, again we can see it building, and then what you're probably interested in is the amount of payback. So it has slowed down a bit, obviously because it's sort of November, December. We're still running without the Zappi at 7.4 years and 8.3, so I've got a couple of months to go to see what a full year would be, so it's looking quite good at the moment, I think, from my perspective anyway. A couple of other things, can't remember if I've shown these before, but this is the chart, and obviously with the solar process I can work out what my daily usage is, and you can see there's obviously some bad days along the way for sort of November, December time, and you know, I can get an idea of how much use, but I'm quite pleased overall that I'm seeing a lot of the not so much of the standard and a lot more of the eco. So charging the battery up, using the battery, and then on the really bad days where you can see the dark blue, I'm having to pay for a little bit, but quite a small amount I think. Let me just clear that. Energy by day, again just different views of the same thing, to be perfectly honest, but just gives me a nice idea. So here I can see day on day, so this is my solar. You can see it dropping, and then when we get to November I'm starting to put the gas on, so you can see the gas is coming on probably a couple of hours a day. On the bigger bits it's a bit more, but I'm trying to, you know, I'm keeping it down to a couple of hours a day, 6 o'clock in the morning, and about 5 or 6 o'clock at night just for a couple of hours, and then boosting it any other time I need it. But again, gives me a good picture, and hopefully the gas will drop, and then I can turn off some of the other electric stuff as well, start using the tumble dryer in the day and things. This is just Zappi, pure Zappi data, which I'm working on at the moment. This was where I was just entering it. I was just charging with a granny cable, and then I had the Zappi. And then I think there was a request before, how does the battery and how did the inverter do? And this is it. So you can see the dips in the temperature. Okay, it's got down to 7, but it's, you know, I haven't seen a degradation that I would say is down to temperature, but again, it's on my back wall. It's quite well covered and protected. But yeah, so I just thought I'd give you a bit of an update on where I am. So the other thing I've done is what you'll see here. This is because I've built it in such a way. You know, I really should get a life, to be honest. But with my kids swimming, I just find this a bit more interesting. So, well, especially than sitting in the car while they're swimming, training. So, what I've done with this is my model will allow me to vary the prices, and that's where I originally started all this to see what I could save and all the rest. So this is if I didn't have the 5 hours of Go Faster, and therefore my day rate was 34p rather than 39p. This is actually what my my spend would be just having the solar. So it's just to give me an idea of what it would be if I didn't have my car. Again, it's not going to be 100% accurate, but I thought I'd give it a go and see if it makes any sense. And this is where I got to. So it's kind of a bit different. Well, let me just put it on here. So what I can now do is sort of give it a bit of a side-by-side comparison. So this one here is what my energy cost would be at 39p per kilowatt. So where I am now, that's just my cost. Actually, that's 39 plus 8, the overnight. So that's just true cost. This is what I would have paid if I'd have been paying 34p across the board. So rather than the 39 and the 8 at night. So this is, so you can see, I have paid 1,100, and I would have paid 1,500, just with the price difference. So I've saved a bit there, being able to switch to the 8p at night, the eco rate. And if you put in or if I put in my solar savings at the 39p, etc., that would have been 1,700. And my solar savings at 34p would have been 1,099. So I've saved a little bit just in the pricing difference. Obviously, that's only in the day. And if I, whichever way around you look at it first, so if I was to include my car, so this is sort of a like for like comparison, then my cost at 34p a day, so without the overnight, would have been £3,000. So I've saved quite a bit of money there in terms of having the solar and the Go Faster rate. And if I exclude the car, so I don't do any of that extra charging at night, then it would have been 2,600. So so I can see there's definitely a saving in terms of having the solar and the Go Faster, especially the Go Faster. So so hopefully that's a bit of a comparison. I've probably not explained that particularly well, so apologies, but hopefully you can see the numbers in there. The other thing I did a quick check of was, because I remember when I got my quote, was the estimated solar generation, which was actually, so they thought it would be about 4,200, and I just noticed that I've actually tipped that. So I've only been running, as I say, sort of 10 months. So I'm quite pleased with that. A couple of months to go and see where I really get to. And then obviously the consumption's completely blown out the water because of the car. So, but again, quite pleased that I'm getting kind of better than expected. So yeah, hopefully it's a bit of an overview of everything. There's a lot going on. If anybody's got any more questions or anything, then please drop them in, if you're still here listening and watching at the end. But yeah, any questions, let me know, and I can see if I can help you. But again, this is my view, so everybody's going to be slightly different. Hopefully it gave you some extra value, some that might help you make your choices. So thanks very much. Cheers. Bye.